Many fans here in the chat.
Hello and welcome to the final Euro Tour event of the 2023 season. It's the Andalucia Open in beautiful Chipiona, Spain. The weather is looking good for this round 2 and my name is Elias Luukkonen. I will be taking you through this round with a special guest, your 2023 European champion, Dennis Augustsson. How are you doing, Dennis?
I'm good, Elias. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, thank you for being here as we're taking a look already at the players. Silver Lätt shot the hot round of round 1 7 under in the wind, very solid.
Yes, and here we have yourself shooting -4, even blind, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, true. I didn't play a practice round on this course, and considering that round one was almost a dream. And then we have Rasmus, Tuominen, a good friend of mine. We are actually practice mates, and he's solid both on the backhand and forehand side. And his putting has been feeling pretty good. He mentioned his putting was feeling pretty good before the tournament, and looking to keep on that through this round 2.
Yes, and here we have Lauri Hämäläinen, also very good player, both forehand and backhand, sponsored by Clash.
Yep, he's got good power. As we're taking a look at the top 10, you see quite a lot of separation at that first place, as Silver already has a 3-stroke lead, and really an opportunity to build on that through this second round. And what are we looking on hole 1, Dennis?
Yeah, hole 1, it's par 3, 456, 139 meters. It plays pretty difficult in the wind, but now that it's calmer, it's not as hard hole.
Yep, very true. As we quickly mentioned in the intro, it's a calmer day today. Round 1 was very windy, but today the scoring conditions are pretty good.
Here we see Silver Lätt throwing the forehand, just getting it up there, not trying too much. Solid.
Yep, very much. He's mostly playing for the par with that forehand. It's really a choice on this first tee whether you want to go for it for the birdie or not. Myself, I am going for it, and you see I'm throwing from the side of the tee pad. And the TDs made a choice before the tournament because some of the tee pads were quite slick that you can throw from the side. And I was going for the green there, turned it over to the right, but fortunately gonna be safe in that circle 2 range.
And here we have Rasmus Tuominen with a solid up drive as well.
Yeah, he's also going for that safe play. And Lauri Hämäläinen, one of the biggest armed guys in the tournament, would you think?
Yeah. He has a lot of power in his backhand. Wow, very nice shot, ending about circle's edge.
Yeah, that's big. He was going pure hyzer. It is good to note that today there was a slight tailwind on this hole, so that 139 playing even a little bit shorter, possibly.
Yes. Like we see, these guys are just laying up for the par.
Yeah, it's a good play. really not gonna lose many strokes with a par, but I have a good look here. Just unfortunately fading out. I do have to tell you that I was a little bit nervous at the beginning here.
And Rasmus just short for the birdie. Lauri, I mean.
Yep, looks like we're not gonna have a birdie on the card. And I had just a short tap in for the par. It's not a bad score to start off the round, especially as the hole is averaging well above par. It's the second most difficult hole of the day, averaging almost a third of a stroke above par. We're gonna be moving on to the second hole. Another very difficult one. You have that early Mando on the right side forcing you to go either down the gap, or some players are going above all the left side trees. That is a risky play though, as both the left side path and the right side path are marking OBs. You have to stay on the grass to be inbounds. And it's a pretty tough hole. What's the play here, Denka?
It's for a backhand right-handed player. It's just get it up there with the hyzer, probably hyzer flip or the flex. I myself go with the forehand in the middle. Flex, I throw the destroyer, and we see Lätt with the forehand hyzer looking in the circle. Good shot.
Yeah, very impressive there. That's a long forehand hyzer going that high. He was still able to get it pin high up there.
Yeah.
And myself, I'm going with a Glow FD3 here. Just trying to hit it straight, and this one felt really good.
Yeah, very beautiful, landing in the bullseye. Perfect.
Yep, that's kind of what you want to do if you're going down the middle, and looks like Rasmus also has a similar stable fairway driver in the hand.
And throwing it low in the middle of the fairway.
Not a bad mistake to make on this one, as most of the trouble is either fading out or turning over too much, so keeping that disc low kind of takes away a lot of those chances. As Lauri, that's a tough early branch hit, and he's OB left, throwing 4 from way back. Actually throwing 3, sorry.
Yeah, unfortunately finding the OB again. Will be putting for a 5 from there.
Yeah, that's a tough start. It's a difficult hole once again, just like hole 1.
Yes.
Playing as the 5th difficult hole this time. But even while it's the 5th most difficult one, you don't want to be putting for a double bogey. And this is it. 11 meters for the double.
Finding chains. No, finding the cage and rolling down.
Nice putt. Nice bird.
Silver connects with the birdie.
Yeah, that's a very good birdie to have there. Especially, I find it so super impressive just going with that high forehand. He's known as being one of the better forehand players in the entire continent. As we see Rasmus Tuominen there, just with a good putt for the par.
That's heartbreaking for Lauri as he takes the 6. And Elias with the textbook birdie once again. Very well done.
Thank you, Denka. Yeah, that was a good one to get for me. And I have to note, even though Lauri took that triple bogey, he was still in pretty good spirits, so wasn't too phased about it, and we'll see whether he can be able to come back. In hole 3 here, we're playing from the back tee, so going along the left side road. Most people are either going for a backhand overstable straight to flex shot along the right side, or what I believe to be the best play is either a left-hand backhand or, well, for guys on this card, it would be a right-hand forehand. And Silver is going to showcase that here.
Yeah, worked out perfect. He will be around the circle, just inside maybe.
Yeah, that was a little right to start, wasn't it?
Yes, I think it's... As we see, Elias ended up just short of the circle.
Yeah, I was going with a pretty overstable metal flake PD2 there, and wasn't quite able to put the power on it. But Rasmus here making a nice correction, puts the slight anhyzer, and what a play there.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want to do on this hole.
What did you throw yourself here, Denka?
I threw a champion Firebird. I tried to throw it straight and fatal to the right.
Yeah, a nice hole for the left-handed player.
Yes. Wow. Wow, Lauri almost acing it with the skip shot. Beautifully done.
Yeah, that's a great shot there. And I think at this point of the round, it's probably a good thing to note that some of you might notice that I have a very casual looking bag with me. And I chose to do it for this Spain 2-week tournament trip because I had to fit something in the airplane that would go under the seat. And I thought that bag works just fine, as unfortunately Silver misses from 11 meters.
Wow. It was not as windy, but you can see some wind there as well. Ay. Rasmus will unfortunately take the bogey. No, the double bogey. Wow.
Yeah, there was actually quite an unfortunate moment there, because right as Rasmus was about to putt his first attempt at the birdie, there was a phone going off in the gallery, and he got distracted, and that's a big reason why he missed it high. Just super unfortunate, turning a birdie putt into double bogey.
Yes. Wow.
So that's going to be some good scoring separation. Well, not good scoring separation, since Rasmus's double bogey was quite unfortunate, but at least some scoring separation on the card.
2 pars, double bogey and a birdie.
And we're moving on to one of the most interesting holes on the course, hole 4. It's par 5 of 318 meters. And off the tee, nobody is going low down the fairway, but every player on the card I would expect to be going over the trees, trying to throw a high hyzer shot as far left as possible, trying to get near the water's edge and hopefully set themselves up with an approach to the green, either with their second shot, or if their drive is not close enough to the water's edge, pitch up to the edge of the water and then approach on the third. It's a very birdieable hole, and wind affects this hole a lot.
Yes, it does for sure. Here we see Lauri throwing his first shot. going big hyzer, as we heard Elias mention, is the best play. Yes. Unfortunately staying in the side of the mountain, but he will be fine from there.
Yeah, he had a good shape there. Just unfortunately hitting some of the last trees. And Silver here, this is too wide to be in the perfect position. He's gonna end up on top of the hill, I believe.
Yes.
So pretty much no play for the basket from there, but he still has a chance for the birdie.
Here Elias goes with the hyzer, the big hyzer. I didn't see what that one ended up, but probably in a good position.
Yeah, it was decent. I'm also slightly still on the hillside, so didn't make it all the way to the bottom. But I have some sort of a chance from there. And same thing for Rasmus, not quite able to get left enough. His shot was a little bit low, actually.
All right, yes. Oh. Silver finding the water on his second shot.
And this is a crazy shot from Rasmus. Look at it, he's put so much anhyzer on it, but he has still ended up short to the water, and that one unfortunately never crossed on the other side. Tough break there. He was going for the eagle there, but not able to get it.
And we see Lauri just pinching, laying up from there? Yes.
And I have this high gap to go for the green, but unfortunately my disc is turning quite a lot over. And even though from this angle you can't quite see it, I actually ended up going OB long.
Wow, that's not too normal.
Yeah, not often do you see people going OB long. It's about 25 meters behind the basket.
Yes. And we see Rasmus throwing his third. Lauri, sorry. Here is Rasmus. With a very nice drive.
Yeah, that's a good shot there. Pretty scary to leave your approach short, as there is only about 7 meters of space on the short side of the basket. And Silver here trying to control the distance with the forehand.
Yeah, finding just outside the circle. Very nice shot.
And I'm throwing my approach here. This is my fourth shot, just trying to get up and down for the par. And there was actually 3 eagles on this hole. Not gonna be on our card clearly, but stating that this hole clearly is very eagleable.
Yes. As we see Lauri putting his fourth and finding the chains. Nice birdie from Lauri.
Yeah, especially after he had that triple bogey on hole 2. Lauri already has taken 2 of those bogey strokes off the card, and he's only 1 over for the round.
Yeah. Even though it shows 1 under.
Yeah, still under par on the total. And that's where you want to be, you know. This is the easiest conditions of the first 2 days. How would you compare these conditions to round 1?
Yeah, it's day and night for sure. Yesterday it was like 4 or 5 strokes harder maybe. So today is pretty much perfect conditions.
Yeah, very true. Winds are down, it's warm and sunny, and we're gonna be moving to a pretty easy hole, honestly. Hole 5 here. Only 109 meters. For the right-hand backhand players, it's a simple hyzer. Everybody on the card has this distance to just take their overstable distance driver, even overstable fairway driver, hammer it over the right side road, which is OB, that is the only danger on this one. Left side, there isn't any OB close to the basket, but if you hang it out too far wide, you might end up OB on the road or in one of those bushes on the green.
Yeah. And here we see Lauri unfortunately finding those bushes, but staying in bounds.
Yeah, he's gonna have a tricky putt there. Those are very thick bushes and quite tall as well. Once again here, I'm utilizing the rule that the tournament director allowed for. You can throw from the side of the tee pad on many of the holes to improve your grip on the footwork.
Yes. And here we see Rasmus throwing a beautiful backhand hyzer. And wow, with the ace. Amazing. Wow, what a shot.
Yeah, that's crazy. He has been struggling slightly on the start of this round, going well above par with no birdies on the scorecard, and wow, that's a way to start off scoring on the front nine.
Yes. Here we see Silver throwing a nice backhand as well, parking it almost.
Yeah, Silver. Nice to see him utilizing the backhand. I have not a short putt, not a long putt, just that, middle distance of about 7 meters. Good to get those ones in, especially since I had this railing right up my bum.
Wow, yeah.
So had to straddle out to avoid that.
Nice putt from Elias, as we see Silver doing the same. Good couple birdies there.
Yep, Silver has to watch out because today the conditions are so good. He knows that somebody behind him will definitely shoot a good round. And even though looks like 2 players on our card, both Rasmus and Lauri, have started off less than ideal, there's still plenty of birdie holes to be had. And one of them here, hole 6, a really short hole, only 80 meters. But this is a true island hole. It's played from an island and basket is placed to the same island. Just a beautiful hole. You might find this one in a video game, maybe in the future. There's a couple of places you can go either over all the trees, you can go right side hyzer with a backhand, you can go forehand hyzer, or you can even go down the middle.
And here we see top of the box, Rasmus Tuominen. Finding early 3 but kicking in the right direction, finding circle 2 maybe, or just outside. And here we see our Elias. Throwing the grenade, wow. Wow, amazing. Finding middle distance again, so I'm sure it will be no problem for him.
Yep, that's my comfortable shot for this hole. I figured that there is actually not a single tree in line of the basket if you go above the first ones. So Silver doing the same but just going low. But I think when you're looking up to the sky, there's really no obstacles there.
Yeah, right. Lauri with the straight to overstable forehand. Parking it. Wow. Very good shot. Rasmus for birdie. Ooh. close.
That's a nice run. He's got that, he's got that spinny delivery even from further out. Kind of like Silver usually does, but that one was just uncharacteristically soft.
Yes.
And I have another one of these short-ish putts. Not something to take for granted, but happy to make that one for the second birdie in a row.
Yes. Very good work, Elias. Lauri tapping in the birdie as well. And Silver with the par.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the easiest holes off the course, averaging well below par. With almost 0.4 strokes below par. As we're moving to another one of the pretty easy holes, it's hole 7.
102 meters. You either throw a forehand around the trees to the right, to the left, or you can throw in the middle with the backhand or forehand. I go with the forehand in the middle, flexing it. What are you doing, Elias?
Yeah, I'm trying to throw a pretty steep hyzer forehand here. You have to move pretty far right on this one, and that is one of the worst early releases you could have here. I hit the first tree available, still have about 80 meters to go.
But you're still safe, right?
Yes, I am safe and I still have a chance to get the par, which I'm very grateful for.
And Lauri with the beautiful forehand, landing around the circle.
Yep, showing off that forehand power. And Rasmus, also a player that has some good pop on the forehand. But as you see there, he throws it a little bit flat. Rasmus stated himself that he's not quite the most comfortable with throwing that high hyzer sort of release. So trying to go with something flatter and just not able to move far enough right.
Here we see Silver with a big forehand hyzer. I think that's one of his most comfortable shots, and he succeeds well, finding almost the circle. So he will be putting for birdie from about 12 meters. And Elias with a good upshot as well will be in that same middle distance for a par. Great job.
Yeah, it's not a bad approach, but in the moment I was slightly disappointed because it's once again not a hole you would like to bogey, and I will now have to make a good putt to avoid doing that.
Rasmus just short for his birdie attempt. Silver with the step putt dagger into the chains with the pure.
Perfectly done there. That was super good putt. And I was actually feeling quite good about this putt, but just not putting it up in the air enough. The line was good, the release was good, but just low.
Yeah, such a common mistake. Lauri with the easy birdie putt. Very well done.
Lauri has a really good putting style for these baskets specifically, as he has that flat but not too hard of a putt. These baskets really reward if your putt is flat but relatively slow.
Elias with the unfortunate bogey. Some tricky stance in those bushes.
Yeah, we couldn't quite see it in the video, but it actually took me probably good 15-20 seconds to even get my stance in those bushes. It was so thick. And we're moving on to another forehand friendly hole, hole 8. You have that mandatory on the right, so forcing all of the high backhand hyzers out of play. Most everybody is going forehand over the top here. Really the best shot is to go over that first tree on the left, trying to hyzer it back into the green. But watch out for that long OB though, as the long OB is only about 4 meters behind the basket.
Yes. This is a hole you want to get in the calm conditions, since it's a pretty easy hyzer. And Lauri showing how it's done. Finding the bullseye.
Yep, that was beautiful. Once again showing off that power he's got on the forehand. And Silver, as you mentioned on the last hole, very comfortable with this high forehand release, and that's another good forehand from him.
Yes. They are showing us how it's done here. And Rasmus with the Anheuser backhand. Ooh. Well, it was a great throw, but just too hard. Finding the OB long.
Yep, that's pretty easy to do with the backhand, as you don't have that fade slowing it down at the end, but rather giving it more glide. And to avoid that, I'm going with a pretty overstable DD3. And I have landed 10 meters short, which is not a bad result, but now I'm looking directly at OB.
Yes. Elias with the death putt for birdie. A little bit scared maybe, leaving it just high, but staying in bounds.
For sure, I was trying to make a bit of a soft putt there, but not paying out. As Silver just barely stays in bounds. That was a weird looking miss.
Yes, he keeps leaving it short, it seems. Rasmus with the good par save.
Yep, that's the best case scenario after going OB. And still, he does not have a birdie. He does have an ace. He has that double bogey. But birdies seem to be avoiding him pretty well.
Yes, hope that changes throughout the rest of the round. Lauri with the textbook birdie.
Nice to see. This is a really good hole for him, as everybody on the card has got a nice big forehand, but Lauri possibly even challenging for the biggest forehand title of this card, as we're gonna be moving towards the final hole of the front nine. Hole 9 here. The drone is flying up the middle, but almost nobody in the field is actually throwing up the middle, especially since we have these talented forehand players on our card. Mostly everybody is going over the OB path on the left side. Most players trying to throw a low forehand hyzer that skips off the path and hopefully towards the basket back to the right.
Yes. And here we see Lauri will show you that route, I think. Going left of the first tree, skipping it towards the basket. Wow. Just coming up short of out of bounds, so he will have 6 meter putt for birdie or something.
Very good result there. And Denka, I saw you hitting the basket off the tee on this hole in round 1. What happened then?
Yeah, it was actually, I played with Silver the first round, and he showed me that way was possible, so I tried it and almost hit the ace. And Silver doing similar shot again today. He will also be putting for birdie.
Yep, looks like he's got this hole down really well. Rasmus also with a nice looking forehand. Everybody's just throwing beautiful shots here.
Wow.
Parked.
Yes. This is impressive stuff. And here we see Elias with the same DD3 maybe. Trying to replicate what the other have done. Just short of the circle, but will still be putting for birdie.
Yeah, I think my problem there was that my disc was just slightly too overstable. I got that early fade and the skip was more towards the right. And what is that? That was an ugly putt.
Yeah, you just couldn't keep it low enough. It was flying over the basket, as we see Silver doing the same thing. Maybe hard in the wind as well. He will now be putting for par. Good save there, Silver.
Very good. That's so important for not only the score, but also for the mental strength for the rest of the round. If he had missed that, he would be only 1 under through the front, losing another stroke to his card mates, as both Rasmus and Lauri are gonna get the birdie, and I have still a bit of work left for the par.
Makes easy work of that. Elias with the save. 2 birdies and 2 pars. As Rasmus taps in his perfect tee shot.
Yep, that's very well done. He gets his first birdie of the round.
Yes.
Only on hole 9. That was a pretty quick front 9, as we're looking at top 10. Silver not quite able to pick up the pace from round 1. There's a couple of players making moves. Jakub Semerad, Matias Vilota, both from, I believe, the chase card, already attacking on our leader.
Yes, it will be interesting to see in the back 9 what they can achieve. As we see also Lauri picking up pace from the triple bogey on hole 2. Very nice to see his mental strength.
Yep, well done by him, and thank you guys for watching the front 9. Thank you Dennis for commentating with me. And if you guys want to support MDG, you can do that on Patreon or just watching and liking and subscribing on YouTube. Everything is appreciated. See you guys on the back.